Fuck's your hat.
All right, welcome back to the OG Minifans Show on the Kirk Minahan Network. I am Steve from Providence with TJ Hubbard and Tim from Canton. Tim, how we doing?
Hey, brother. Thanks for having me back on. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on with you guys. Love this show.
That's good. Good to have you.
Well, I think you're going to be on as much as you can going forward, if that's all right.
Yeah,
I love it. Does this make me like the permanent square in Hollywood?
The sultry sounds of Tim and Ken. I like it.
Bad accent, nasally voice.
So, which Hollywood square would you be?
That's a good question. You're gonna have to look into that. You don't know that is DEC.
What was that? What was the one with the puppet? What was the puppet one?
With Madam?
Yeah. Yes, that guy. That's the only thing I can remember as a kid. Why is there a fucking Muppet on this? I don't know. It's weird.
All right, so I wanted to start off this week. This is something that I did not want to get into, but I think we have to touch on it a little bit. So I just woke up and started looking through some stuff, and I've seen that Barstool Zonker is contacting advertisers and trying to cause a real problem for the show. And also, he sent out a tweet saying that Kirk, if he really wanted to kill himself, he would, basically. I'm kind of confused. I understand that he was brought in basically because of a website that he owns, a link. What the hell is going on? I'm very confused. Is this all about Kirk's political bias that he basically shares with Zonker? I mean, he's almost getting I would expect something like this to happen to probably Jerry or something, not to Kirk. I'm completely baffled by where this is all coming from. Do either of you two gentlemen have any idea?
I don't have really any insight into that at all. Like we interact on Twitter or whatever, no DMs or something, but those guys brought him in, and he seemed like a decent enough character. I mean, and then I don't know where it went fucking south. Like, to call Kirk a pussy for not killing himself, that's fucking unfathomable. That's awful to say to someone who has mental health problems. That's fucking bad. And, I just fuck him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that to anybody. I don't care. And the other thing is that if you don't agree with someone politically, well, why do you have to make it so fucking personal?
Yeah, but Kirk agrees with Right. No, basically agrees with him politically.
Maybe, but the people he doesn't agree with Steve, and we know that Robinson. But why make it a big deal? Why make it why make a fucking scene? Just stop fucking listening. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't.
Don't write a fucking blog. Don't have that fucking asshole K Marco fucking publish it. That guy should be fucking fired tomorrow. He's a piece of shit.
You can't reason with illogical people. I think it took a turn, Steve, when, like you said, it was a love fest. Zonka was in the world. He loved being noticed for fucking with Dave. But I think it took a turn when Kirk had on Donald Trump Jr., and that seemed to set him off. And it's symptomatic of what is going on. There's no open discussion. There's no open discourse. Everything is you one side or the other. God forbid two people who have opposing viewpoints speak to each other. And Kirk has said, and just finished up with this, Kirk has said time and again, he has invited anybody to voice their viewpoint, and they never come on. So you got a guy like Donald Trump who likes to talk, Donald Trump Jr., he comes on, and it seems like that's what set this psycho. By the way, he's a psycho. What he said about Kirk today, that he should kill himself, that's just.
When did it end? Two adults can't just fucking talk about something. When did that end? Yeah. I would say it ended fucking January of 2017 with Trump getting inaugurated. You can't just talk. You just can't shoot the shit about it. I don't know. But it's like the media
more than with social media.
Yeah, I think social media, that's what I'm trying to get on. It's like the social media, hey, it's this. Someone saying, oh, Trump's fucking killing baby bears in fucking Montana. You're like, what? That doesn't make sense.
Well, it almost seems like the guy's following the Murchison way of, like, he's starting off going at with Barstool. The same way that Murchison, would try and interact with EEI and say, get this guy off or whatever. They had had a meeting. As we all know, we had meetings. What do you want to solve the situation? Except this guy is definitely not worth that fucking time.
It's not going to work. By the way.
No, it's not going to work at all. If it never ends well for these people when they try and do this stuff. And today with that comment, as far as he's really not going to kill himself. I mean, that just shows you're a typical fucking scumbag. You're an asshole.
That's exactly it.
And now that you just came off like you lost your point at right then and there. Whatever you had that you were trying to push, as far as when you took that route right there, you instantly became an asshole, and no one will ever take you seriously.
And that's the difference between EEI and Barstool. EEI will fold like a fucking wet napkin. With Barstool, stand strong, and I give Portnoy credit and Eric credit that they've been pretty good probably with this. Save for the fact of K Marco, he's a fucking pussy. But you're up against Barstool. It's a little bit different than EEI. You're not going to deal with fucking David Field and fucking Sam Kennedy or fucking.
And TJ, it goes. Going back to the social media keyboard warriors. I think it's good people get a chance to voice. To have a voice that maybe didn't have a voice before, but the guy's a coward. He took down his tweet, so he's obviously a coward. He's a weasel. He wants to be in this world so bad. He wants to be in the Barstool world. I don't care what he says about buying that website and never giving it back. He loves messing with them. We've heard about the emails that he replies to on behalf of Barstool.
Having fun with it was one thing, but then when it became serious, it just sucks. It's just too bad. Like, it could have been completely different, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
completely different.
Absolutely. All right. So you guys both listened to today's Wednesday show on Sirius, right?
Sure did.
Kirk went going at Stern pretty hard, and I don't know about you, Tim. I know TJ and I talked. Were you a big Stern follower back in the day?
Huge,
right?
I listened to it, but I wasn't like paying attention to all the characters, and I thought it was funny. Like on a daily basis, I'd listen to it, but I wouldn't put any more thought into it after that.
It was fucking a great show, especially I loved it. I loved it when they went over to Sirius. I was one of the guys that went out and purchased one of the radios right away. Day one, loved it, and absolutely, like I remember on regular radio, like you'd be listening. And then all of a sudden at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it was, the show would cut off for the day and you wouldn't hear anything for weeks because social media wasn't what it is today. Yeah. So you would be completely in the dark. You wouldn't have any idea what is going on. Then the guy would come on in a week or so, and he wasn't allowed to maybe talk about what happened. It was all crazy. But so now I'm thinking about that.
Seemed genuine. It seemed genuine. I'm with you. I was a huge, huge fan. Bought the books. I went to the movie during work the day it came out with another Stern fan. Just like Kirk was saying, we would talk about Stern every day. What was on the show was so entertaining. All the characters that have come and gone, all the great characters. The day he started, I wasn't at Emily Donchemont's house with Andy Nolan and Eric Hood like Kirk was. But the reason that sticks out to me is I remember where I was when I first heard the show, and it was at night. And, Charles Lacadere was the guy around here. It was at night, and they put Stern on. I said, what is the big deal? I've been hearing about this guy for years. And after about 3 shows, I couldn't stop listening to him. I couldn't get enough. And to think how duped we were is sad.
Yep.
Speaking of guys that took a fucking 180, Howard Stern. Jesus Christ.
Now, do you remember Tim back? I think it was like 1990. Jesus, maybe 94, 93 or 94. He did the New Year's Eve special. I watched that.
You stay in and watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Then it was ETV at night. Like it was
Channel 9 show.
Yes, like it was just insane. And like I used to follow him just like I follow Kirk, except now there's a lot more access to Kirk, and he allows for a lot more access. I remember as a kid trying to call in, you'd never be able to get on or anything like that, but it was fucking huge. It was a monster. Yeah.
I was on once.
Oh, you were?
I was. It was around 96, 97. Remember Pat Cooper, who we would have on, the quote-unquote comedian, the angry comedian?
Yep.
Pat was coming to Boston, and I was at work and listening to the show, and I called in, and Stutter and John put me right on because I said I hate Pat Cooper, And they said, hang on a second. They put me on. I said, when he's coming to Boston, I was going to throw a tomato at his fat Italian head. And, of course, Howard loved that. It got Pat crazy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Now, do you think that Kirk in turn is going at him extremely hard because he feels the same way that we do? We dedicated so like I would feel that way if I found out that Kirk, like if it came out that Kirk was nothing like he puts himself out there to be. Like, do you think he's coming as a jaded fan? Do you think that's the way he's approaching things?
I think it's breaking his heart. I think it's breaking his heart.
Like us, we're a big fan, so you feel let down. But I also think a lot of it has to do with the fact the guy's a freaking hypocrite.
Yep.
And there's nothing worse, right? Kirk hates disloyalty and hypocrites like most of us, and I think that's a lot of it. He like you said, he could have just said he evolved. Things have changed. You can't, things were different. And he looks back and says, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
He's trying to sit on the fence there, and but he wants that Hollywood crowd around him, and that's the way it is. So he's gonna say whatever whatever helps them. Going on Ellen and there's The View the other day,
Jimmy
right? Jimmy Kimmel, and as we know, all of them,
AGT.
They don't like the president. So,
well, I think he was going this way for a long time. But Steve, sounds like you were maybe a bigger fan than TJ. Do you even listen anymore, or when's the last time you even listened to a show?
I have not listened to him since Artie left. Since when Artie stopped coming on, I stopped listening. I thought they were going to bring back Jackie for a period of time. I thought he was going to come back. The show changed. It wasn't as much fun. Like I used to. Do you remember when they used to have Bubba the Love Sponge on all the time?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I fucking loved
what a character.
That guy.
That's how Brent got his job. Yeah, Brent worked for Bubba, and he was awesome.
I remember seeing smoke shows on the E network when they had had a show on like strippers, right? I was like, holy shit, look at this show.
Well, I used to they used to do the Miss Butterface contest.
Which they would have awesome. That was awesome.
They would have these three girls come on that had absolutely unbelievable bodies, and they would take the bag off, and they were horrifying. They were some of the best shows. They used to fucking wax people in live, like they'd have like me, like if I didn't shave my chest or my pubes, they would freaking lay me down on a table and they'd have some Asian wax therapist come in and just freaking wax.
Before the 30-year-old version of they had Butt Bongo Fiesta. He had very, very controversial stuff that he did, but it was funny, and I'm with you. I haven't listened in 8. I have a few friends who still do, and they're like, yeah, it's terrible. He doesn't. I always thought his interviews were pretty darn good. Even those have gotten bad. The characters that he has on now, it's just so lame. It's not even funny anymore. And they say Marcy Turk ruined it, but he's been going this way for a while. And he's only on 100 times a year. That's it. 100 shows.
So now, if it sounds like, from what I can gather, so he keeps trying to deny some of the wording that he used throughout his career, which was part of the wording that he used in order to gain a reputation as being just a crazy person that would say and do anything on the air. And now he's being called out for it, and he's completely running away from it. So with that being said, what am I supposed to do going forward with my Uncle Ben's?
That was your surprise.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Look how much fucking syrup that is.
What am I supposed to do with my Stubbs freaking barbecue sauce? Like,
wait, that's going away too?
I don't know. I hope not. This is great stuff.
But get down to that restaurant in North Carolina called Tar Babies.
Yeah, no shit.
So I can't believe they have a restaurant that says that.
So it was a Sambo's in California until 2 weeks ago.
So what are they going to do? Are they going to start removing African Americans from the front of covers of like from labels of food? And
have you bought a tub of Land O'Lakes fucking butter lately? Because there's something definitely missing from that. And it's called the Indian. She's gone.
Oh, she's gone?
Yeah, I went to buy a tub of butter the other day, and I was like, "What the where? Where's that Pocahontas?
No more making boobies out of her knees."
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Right? Remember, you could scrunch the, from people who were born before the internet, you'd have
I didn't jerk off the
make
butter.
things work.
Now I will jump on the sword.
Two. That's the operative question.
I will jump on the sword and say I'm as dumb as Kevin Clancy is saying. Now, when you remove those people from the labels, is that considered wokeness? Is that what that's considered?
Yes.
That's not cancel culture, right?
It's derogatory to have someone of color on a package of something. Apparently.
Is. Okay. All right, fair enough. Well, I'm gonna hold on to that.
Keep those. I think I have 3 bottles of that.
Can you hold that? Can you hold that Aunt Jemima up again?
This is great. This is great. Look at the size of this thing.
It says Aunt Jemima. Okay.
Aunt Jemima.
Now, does that go with the purchases you made last week?
Oh no, that's my BJ's.
This is top shelf stuff.
By the way, the Apple Blasts were fantastic.
Some great value syrup.
The Honey Slams or whatever the hell they were. They tasted like I was chewing on a feather. They got all like they weren't good. That didn't like they went to the birds.
Wood fence O's.
Right, they probably made from
wood fence.
People's ashes.
That's fucking
good call.
You could have got some great value syrup. It's like pouring water on your pancakes.
Hey Frank, I got some leftover ashes from Mr. Roselli. I know a guy in Providence. We can trick him into thinking it's cereal. What do you say? Little side hustle here.
All right,
so some glue in there.
All right, so the show came up on its, just touching on some things very briefly. The show came up on its 1-year anniversary, and it sounds to me, like Steven does not want to be there anymore with Barstool. That's what it just comes across to me. It comes across like he wants to get the fuck out of there. I could be wrong.
Like when he said it this afternoon.
Like when he says I want to get the fuck out of there. But like I can see where you grow because I reached out to who's that here? Is that the wife?
No, that's my hockey player. He's also my server.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I reached out today to Mike. He didn't have the exact numbers, but I kind of threw it out there as a generalization. So when Kirk first came on, they were the first few shows or whatever, they were around 25 to 30,000 downloads per episode. And now they're up way above 100,000, going towards 150, 175 per episode. So they are fucking growing by just in this last year. They are fucking exploding. So with that being said, so Kirk's got another year left on his contract. Do you gentlemen see him there next year at this time? Do you see him staying with Barstool or going to a subscription service or some other place to broadcast his show?
I see him staying there. I mean, Dave and Erica leave him alone. They do buy him pretty well. So he's staying there. But he said, if K Marco was there, he's not going to be. Think about it. Yeah. And I don't blame him. The guy tried to stab him in the fucking back.
Yep. Yep. Tim?
I think, I hate to be so political about it. I see him staying under one condition. If they're loyal to him, I see him being loyal to them, and I think the stuff with Zonka will prove out. And with K Marco, what happens there, Erica's already implied, not even implied, she's already stated things are going to change. I think if they get more of what they're looking for, which is total creative control, which means they own the IP, the intellectual property, which I learned a few weeks ago.
Real quick, I want to use broadcasting from your driveway.
I'm in my garage. Yeah, is it that bad? Okay.
No, I'm just curious.
I didn't get kicked out. It's just nice and cool out here. So.
Are you on a train?
I'm underwater. So I think if they are able to post on their own with no editorial review, I think that'll bode well for them. It sounds like Kirk wouldn't mind staying, but on the other hand, I think if he sees an opening, Steve's going to push him towards the door, and off they go.
Now, as far as
loyalty, what do you think?
Loyalty? Do you mean money? Do you mean like? No. I know Kirk in the past has said money doesn't matter to him, but I think it matters to Steve, and I think Steve will want to go to where the most amount of money is available, which is common sense. I mean, listen, if I signed up for a show and they said you get a certain percentage of the show's earnings, and that goes to you, I don't want to stay where, say, I can make $100,000 a year. I want to go where I can make $300,000 a year. Especially he's a young guy. and he wants to obviously bank as much money as possible. I think Steve would be pulling more towards let's go make as much money as possible, where Kirk might want to stay where he feels comfortable. He's got a good rapport with Barstool other than K Marco. I think he would want to stay there, but I
was just going to say, look, sorry, go ahead.
I just think personally that'll be like they had said that. I remember his prediction was Steve wouldn't be there after the first year. I think that is going to be probably the only thing that they are stuck upon is Steve wanting the money. As far as maybe he thinks that they can get something somewhere else, and Kirk will want to stay at Barstool.
Well, I mean, if they keep going up in viewership, I mean, Steve's got a little leverage there to, maybe get an increase in salary. I don't know if Blind Mike does, but I mean, and the other thing with it, so they do have incentives, right? So Blind Mike's salary could be quite boosted substantially, right?
Yeah, I don't think and not to be rude, and I don't mean this in any derogatory way towards Mike whatsoever. I don't think that Kirk's going to make his business decision depending on whether or not Mike gets a bump in his salary.
No, I'm saying like he's currently employed. I'm saying his employment does consist of bonuses for stuff, right?
Sure.
Downloads
and stuff like that. Downloads. So with more viewership, Mike makes more money. And I'm assuming that's makes that whole crew does.
I think the other thing that helps out as far as leverage toward, and this just goes for me, maybe just because of my bias that I have towards Kirk, and listening to some of those other shows, and I'm lumping, as much as I hate to say it, I know he's a great guy, Big Cat and KFC. I've listened to their shows a lot more recently, and they are not, in my opinion, even in the same ballpark as far as being able to listen to the shows. And the amount of money, I know they're part owners, I guess you would say, of Barstool, as far as they've been there for so long. And maybe that's a reason why they make so much money. But I think Kirk's biggest leverage is his show and how good it is. So when
you look at where Steve came from, right, with Howie, that's the Howie Khan Network. I don't know how that works. I don't know if he sells that show to WRKO, but that's Howie's network, and he's on a lot of stations throughout the country. And I wonder if that's what Steve's thinking is, hey, we can build something like that here too. It's not radio, but we can build something along those lines. And I'll say this, at least Dan is very entertaining. Kevin, man, that show is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
That radio show.
It is.
It's it seems like a personal guy. He's obviously revealing his lack of wits lately. I'll chalk that up to being closed in.
I haven't really listened to that. I mean, of course, Big Cat. I think Big Cat's entertaining as hell. But
here we go, Steve.
But it's two different entertainers. It's two different entertainers. It's two different things. One you don't have to think about, the other one you do.
Yeah.
So and it's good. It's good to have mental exercises sometimes.
So we got a little bit over a month, and then now, Tim, have you told your wife yet that you're going to the drive-in? You have not.
I still haven't. Still haven't broken into her.
Well, fuck her. She doesn't need to know anyway.
Are you gonna jump in my truck?
No, I'm actually gonna be. Well, my plan is to the last day of vacation drive down from New Hampshire directly to the hotel, and I get a couple guys I'm meeting up with at the hotel.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So no, she does not know yet. I'm picking that spot. Maybe this weekend if we go out for drinks.
Well, I would. A lot of people are going to be up the night before, a Friday night. So if anybody's up for something, either it starts with C&N's in a casino or strip club or drinks on the beach or, it's all right, Tim. We can go to the strip club together. It's fine.
Well,
we would.
I would. I'm
glad you go to the strip club.
I'm glad to come up there the day before and do something. But I will ask that you quit sending me pictures from this Quarantine Titties website. What is it, Quarantitties?
I'm sorry. You don't like to look at tits?
He said.
What changed you?
you're on this kick where you're sending me pictures of 60-year-old ladies in their bathing suit, and it's fucking disgusting, to be completely honest with you, when some lady puts in her teeth and says, "I'm summer ready," and it's fucking gross. And I'm gonna ask
you walk around looking like a sideways T. Sometimes I'd like to send it to you, and maybe you could knock it down a bit. You know what I mean?
Fucking nasty.
You're on a
everybody's got
the driest spell. It's like you've been walking through a desert for about 7 years. It's time. It's time you use that.
All right. So the other thing is a couple things I want to touch on before we get out of here. So the YouTube shows, did you guys, which I know you haven't watched yet, I just got a feeling. I told you guys 2 shows last week. Better Than It Used to Be. That's with Jig or Gig, whatever. And Some Insane News with Madawaska Rob. These shows are fantastic. I'm hooked. You got to watch it.
Yes, I haven't watched either of them, and not because I just don't have the time.
He's busy getting chicks with some of teeth, some of here, some of there.
I can turn this around. I can show you. I should take stock in manila folders. So, yes, I'm busy. I actually had someone.
The authorities
I hired someone. Yeah, it's crazy. But no, I'm gonna get on those.
These are big.
I interacted with Madawaska Rob. Just the last couple of days, I interacted with him over some baseball cards.
Well, that's so now that's the other thing. So you two gentlemen are into baseball cards.
Well, let me just say, Steve, I took your recommendation.
Yeah.
And I did watch Better Than It Used to Be.
It's a great show.
Outstanding. Loved it.
It's a great show. That's a great show. So you two, between the both of you, you're about I don't know, 89, 90 years old between the both of you, and you're still opening up baseball cards.
Pretty accurate.
So, that's a big thing
you're
on the internet. Well, it's actually, I'm actually not, because it's a big thing on the internet where they do these live unboxings where this guy will have a show where he just opens up baseball cards and he sends out, if they're good ones, he sends them out to get graded. Oh, yeah, it's a fucking monster out there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. So do you both just do this for fun? I mean, you're both
so foreign to you. I love it.
You guys are both very confusing. All right, listen, TJ.
That's Rich Gedman. That's Rich Gedman.
You're not doing this to me tonight. You're not doing this to me tonight.
Yes, I am.
It's not happening.
So while TJ's opening his pack and looking through,
I'm good.
I have a huge baseball card collection. Thousands upon thousands. Doubles, triples. I've got them in book. I probably have, 20 books full that I inherited from somebody. Thought I was going to be a 100,000-aire, millionaire, whatever you want to say. I've been collecting them since 1977.
Yeah.
They were at one point going to be able to pay for a house, and I thought, wait, I'm still young. I'll sell these later. They are not worth the sheets that hold them in the books anymore. Bad investment.
So when I was 10, 11, and 12, I would set up a table on the side of the fucking road and sell baseball cards and trade with like grown men.
Yeah.
They would come in, and we go up to the local shop and you try to open a pack, get a Ken Griffey or whatever. And my grandmother tells me, this is like 89. Oh, well, your father's cars are upstairs. Where? Oh, they're stuffed in the attic. And I was like, all right. Well, we went up there and digging around the old insulation. The old insulation. It's not like rolled out. It's just blown. It's all crappy. And underneath it was this box. It's a big box. So we opened it. It was pretty much a 56 and 57 and 58 set of tops.
Ooh.
Barely touched. And I still have them. Well, my father does. And they're fucking amazing condition, some of them. The mantle is unbelievable.
You got to make your mantle? Wow.
And
what's your address again?
1, 2, 3.
Now,
when you stop by one night.
When you were selling these baseball cards on the side of the road, did you used to tell these people your shitty stories when you were?
Yep, I did. Every one of them. Yep, and they'd sit there and wait until they fucking broke. They're like, okay, I'll give you fucking $5 for you, John Smiley.
All right. So who do we?
The suicide rate would spike every week.
Wait. So what was your hobby there fucking love muffin?
That's a good
What was
question.
your hobby?
I used to
They
ride
didn't have
dirt
stripper
bikes.
cards.
I was riding dirt bikes.
She used to rope one off to Sears catalogs.
I used to ride dirt bikes, and we used to steal golf carts from Triggs Golf Course. Golf Courts. We used to steal golf carts. So that was my hobby as a youth.
That's all you did. Come on.
All right. Listen. So
you didn't collect anything.
Panties.
Yeah, that's the question.
No, I didn't collect
Bloomis.
Unbelievable.
So, all right. So big week this week on trivia. Well, last week where
There's a guy in Bristol who collects cream.
Yes, lots of it.
Speaking of Kevin,
he gives it out.
14 shots in 40 minutes.
Amazing.
I did a wellness check on him. He was fine the next day. He's a fucking tank.
Amazing.
So who do we got this week before we get out of here?
We have Giggs, the guy, the show you just mentioned. Giggs, and John from Scranton. Yep, Scranton. He's coming on versus Phil and BA. So
that's a good show.
That's my team. That's my team.
That's your sleeper, you said.
That's the sleeper, you said. Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll see.
They better do me right.
We get some hot questions. Hot questions.
All right, so homework for this week. Your homework. You guys gotta come prepared next week. You guys. So your homework this week is I want you both to watch those two shows, Better Than It Used to Be and Some Insane News. That's the only thing I require for you guys for next week.
I'm watching some insane news after we hang up. Well,
give him a download.
TJ and I hang on and tell stories for 2 more hours, and then I'm gonna watch.
Fantastic.
Right, that's what's gonna happen.
You didn't bring up Ellie Schnitt.
Oh yeah.
She was fucking. I mean, in all honesty, she's fucking dead.
Sometimes when sometimes when they start to think they're intellectual, it just breaks them, it makes them just unattractive.
The one thing I'll stick up for Kevin when he said to Kirk picking on a 22-year-old, the one thing I'll say is you can be 22 and still be a child. That girl has got this much full of brains in that head.
Oh, Jesus.
I would say I would be more willing to support. I would be more willing to support her cause if it lasted more than a week. But she's already moved on from it. That would be like me ranting and raving about Kirk, and then next week saying that I'm a big supporter of Name Your Podcast, and I go that route. So I don't think you really can put too much stock in her beliefs when it only lasted a few days. So, that's the way I feel about it.
She's so fortunate where she is, but she's done well. But let's face it, she's one bad makeup day away from making bukkake flicks.
Not to be like a stick to sports take, but stick to what you know.
Yeah,
it's okay to venture out, but man, get some.
At least
get knowledgeable.
Be knowledgeable when you do venture.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything before we get out of here? Any closing statements?
I have a question. What are you two going to do for content? These I will call them like, in those movies when the spaceship goes around the back of the moon and they're out of communication, nobody knows if they live or die. Yeah. We're entering that phase.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably reconnect with my children. I'm gonna probably reconnect with my kids and get to know them again. That's probably about it. TJ, what do you got? What are you going to do?
Probably play scratch tickets down in the store.
Solid way.
Why not?
Solid thing to do. Awesome.
Hey, we can hope on. I'll win $500,000 one day. You'll get a text from me. Where did TJ go?
All right. So with that being said, thanks a lot to Kirk, Steve, Mike, and Justin.
Oh,
as always. Oh no.
Oh yes.
Happy Miniversary. I've been celebrating all day.
Guys.
Happy Miniversary, fellas.
Happy anniversary.
Now, and one last thing. I keep staring at that painting behind you. I'm staring. I've stared at it for fucking months. And it looks like something's coming out of her ass. I don't know what it is. You look at it.
It's shadowing.
I know, but it looks like something like she's shitting apples.
It's apple puffs.
Apple puffs. It's mesmerizing. It really is. I am gonna try to find one of those.
I was gonna get a new one, but I have to keep it on now. I can't ever get rid of it.
You can't change that. Do you think now was that something that was handmade, or could you buy it at like the local Michaels or?
I bought it at IKEA.
IKEA.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I did. And no one believes me, but I bought it at IKEA.
Google search. How you doing?
20 years ago.
We're gonna see a lithograph of that in Saco, Maine.
Right next to the KMS flags.
All right. With that being said, everyone, I hope you have a great week, and we will catch you next time.
All right, go Expos.
Stay safe.